Hi everyone, John Lawrence, owner and founder of Camino Tax and Financial Strategies. Thank you for joining me on my journey of the Camino de Santiago. Today is my trip to Los Arcos with my Danish friend, and I wish I could remember his name. My young Dane and I set out in the darkness together. We walked west towards Los Arcos, my destination for the evening. In getting to know one another, we chatted about life and growing up. He had grown up, never knowing his father, and had met him just recently. He was angry with his dad not being around and showed up after all these years, and I understood his anger, pain, and anguish. He talked, I listened. He shared his deepest thoughts and pain. I shared some of mine, or at least what I thought was relevant. This was a bright young man in his early 20s. When we were all talked out about family, he turned to Denmark and history. He was a World War II buff and shared stories of Danish commandos working with the resistance in North Africa and what the soldiers went through to make sure Hitler's Germany didn't prevail. It's funny that when we go over history, we forget that different views give different perceptions. Here was a proud Dane honored by those who served their country. We arrived in Los Arcos and shared what food we had for lunch. We sat in a church area and ate. My friend and I parted ways. I stayed and he moved on. I hope there's 23-year-old legs. I was exhausted. I had left home 8 days ago. I haven't slept well in a week. I've been walking 13 to 15 miles day after day. I needed sleep and I didn't think an albergue would cut it. I looked down an alleyway and saw that there was a small hotel. I didn't have a reservation, but I was able to secure a room on the 4th floor, no elevator, room 13, a single twin bed and a private shower. No snoring to keep me awake tonight. I showered and washed out what I could and set out to find a beer. There were 2 bars in this little hamlet, and I wandered between the 2. I then connected with a couple from Portland, Oregon. They had walked with an Englishman named John. I share this because John and I became very good friends. I was invited to their albergue for dinner that night. I was alone in the hotel, but now had dinner plans. After a couple of beers, I went back to the hotel to clean up a bit and stopped to get a bottle of wine, my contribution for the meal that evening. When I arrived there, about 20 people from all over Europe, South America, Canada, and the U.S. A guy from Denmark named Casper cooked while wine began to flow, and I chatted with nearly everyone. The conversation turned to what it always did. What brought you there? That dang question. Still no good answer. But that night I met a woman from Vancouver. She was the oldest of 9 kids, I myself am the 7th of 9. She could relate to my big family issues. So John and I laughed a lot and liked each other. We decided to walk together the next day and make arrangements to meet the next morning. The next day was the longest walk yet, over 30 kilometers. This is where the story picks up, so please join me tomorrow. Until then, make it a